There are several business models for improvement that do work in education. The first would be Shewhart and Deming's Plan, Do, Check, Act model that was developed during the 1930s in the Progressive era. It was a time marked by rapid industrialization, urbanization, and significant changes due to World War I and World War II. The public sector was very much influenced by private sector business management techniques, such as scientific management and Taylorism, because they emphasized efficiency, productivity, and standardization, which could have been achieved through something like the assembly line. Even though the strategy at the time was applied or adopted by Japan in order to improve its industries after World War II, the model can also be applied in educational settings. So an example for a current situation would be a high school identifying that students are struggling with literacy across all content areas, not just English language arts. They would apply the Plan, Do, Check, Act model for improving literacy outcomes. So first, the school could form a literacy committee of teachers, department chairs, instructional coaches, and administrators who would essentially establish a shared vision in order to create constancy and a shared purpose, is what Evans and other authors tell us. The committee would identify specific literacy skills that are crucial across content areas and then set a goal to increase the average reading comprehension scores on standardized assessments by 3 to 5%. They would introduce specific strategies to use in classrooms, such as close reading, annotation techniques, or discipline-specific vocabulary instruction. And then that plan would be put into place. And so for the do step, those selected strategies would be piloted in a few classrooms. Teachers would see professional learning to support their implementation. Evans, Thornton, and Usinger tell us that the adult learning theory could be applied so that professional learning is self-directed, activates prior knowledge, and is targeted at finding a solution to a specific problem. In this case, it's improving literacy rates. And that plan is checked or monitored for effectiveness. So the pilot is monitored through formative assessment, student feedback, classroom observations, and of course, data is also collected on student performance to determine if there is, in fact, an improvement in literacy skills across subjects. And then finally, the last step, act. Based on the analysis, those successful strategies are refined and then scaled up to the rest of the school. If certain approaches are less effective, they'd be adjusted or replaced with alternative methods, and then the cycle is repeated so that we're continuously refining the literacy strategies based on ongoing feedback and results. A second model would be Kotter's 8-step change model that was developed in 1996 during the Y2K era. It was a time of rapid technological improvements, increased globalization, and a growing emphasis on accountability in education. Educational reforms came out like No Child Left Behind and a rise of high-stakes testing. And so they were focused in the private sector on lean manufacturing and accelerated change, which reflected a broader societal push towards efficiency and strategic improvement. And so Kotter's model, if applied in an educational setting, might look like a model used to address PLCs that are not operating effectively. Let's say meetings lack focus. Teachers feel that PLCs are not contributing to their professional growth and they're not seeing results in student learning outcomes. And so if the model is applied, a principal would first create a sense of urgency with the staff by sharing data that PLCs are not improving student literacy outcomes and teacher collaboration. And so he would create a powerful coalition of teachers who would then head up the change effort in the building, who are responsible for revitalizing PLCs and ensuring they align with the school's goals. They would create a vision for change by setting a vision for dynamic, focused, data-driven decision-making, where they are collaboratively lesson planning and sharing best practices for improving literacy. The vision will be communicated to the staff through staff meetings, professional development sessions, newsletters, etc. And then any obstacles would be removed, such as making sure that they're clarifying roles and expectations, and then also providing training on data analysis and collaborative practices. They just celebrate the short-term wins, such as improved literacy scores in a specific grade level or content area, and then they would build on that change. Once the positive results came in and they saw that they were effective, they would continue to support and expand the initiative. And then finally, the last step in Kotter's model is to anchor the changes to the culture. And so to ensure sustainability, principles and practices of effective PLCs would be embedded into school policies and procedures. My final takeaway is that from the Fullen article, when considering a possible solution to an area of improvement, it is to be deeply informed by sound theories that are close to practice, make sense of the practice, and help us identify and continually assess strategies for improvement.